What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the bottom of the map-ish, the left of the map, kind of, in the yellow color, playing as Zeus. It's Mr. Clean himself from the F2 clan, Squash. A little bit more in the F2 clan in the near future here, spawning in the bottom of the map in the green color, playing as Oranos. His name is GMs, and in the right-hand side of the map, in the blue color, playing as Hades, his name is TSM Player. Their opponents today, I believe this is the Cud clan, so correct me if I'm wrong, if Gold Lion, maybe Gold Lion's in F2. It's almost the Cud clan. I could be wrong. Maybe Gold Lion's in this clan. I get confused. Anyways, in the top of the map, in the purple color, playing as Hades, his name is Ninhyo. Their partners here in the red color, playing as Loki, is Gold Lion. And in the teal color, playing as Oranos, is Tunison. That is exactly what's going on. So let's talk a little bit about this. This is not a part of the tournament. This is simply just a friendly team game that these guys are playing in preparation. So I thought it would be interesting to check out the preparation and see if we can learn a little bit about how these players play. Now, I believe that a lot of the Age of Mythology community would consider F2 to be one of, if not the best clan, so the favorites to win the tournament. And I think that taking a look at how they play team games and what they're doing differently is going to really benefit the level at which people are going to play, because we're going to be able to learn a whole lot from it. So this is something that we see Squash doing a lot. Now, whether or not it is good or not remains to be seen. So the idea here, I believe, from Squash is if you put your mining camp at the location which is as close to the town center as you possibly can get it. This is effectively lowering your gold income by a slight amount to allow your villagers to be safer against raids. So you're basically playing around raids in a big way by doing this. So you get a little bit less surface area for the storehouse, but you get a little bit more safety here. As we move up and we check out this, we just see Squash going for a 2 granary start, 2 separate hunting locations here. And we're going to continue to look down to the bottom of the map here. Got Oranos in the pocket here. Let's talk a little bit about team game desires. So even now we can just say in Retold, I want to be able to say which player gets to be in the pocket in my team games. I want that option. In Age of Mythology, you don't have it. I believe in Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, it is something that's possible because it's actually really important. The strength at which a pocket god is really important. Oranos, one of the strongest pocket gods. Loki, one of the strongest pocket gods. A bunch of other like a Thor, one of the strongest pocket gods. These gods that are really mobile. They want to be in this pocket location so they can help out their team as best as they can. You don't really want to have a Greek civilization in the pocket if you can so help it, because they're just too slow to help out. If we come over here, we've got TSM Player playing as Hades. He's in a nice side location, Greek over here. So F2 is going to be really, really happy about the layout that they've got in this game. If we take a quick look over onto the other side of the map, we've got Tunison going through Oranos. No surprises there. We do have Loki in the pocket here. So Gold Lion going to be really happy about this one. He's not advancing just yet, but he's going to be advancing soon, going up through Forseti, finishing up with his giraffe, moving over to this location, going to be eating the gazelle there. And over here in the purple color, Ninhyo, he's going to be advancing a little bit late here, I would say, going through Athena. 4 minutes into the game. It is going to be a bit of a Hades matchup on the bottom of the map, so I'd be surprised to see anything other than a fast town center here from Ninhyo. Same too for TSM Player. He's scouted his opponent. This is something that these players on the really strong teams do really well. They make sure they know which civilization they're actually playing against, and they decide what strategy they're going to do as a result. So you can see TSM Player, he is going for the gold mines straight away here, and he is going to be getting a very, very fast second town center. He makes that decision really early in this game. Squash, on the other hand, what is he doing? Is he going for Centaur? No, he's not going for Centaur. We don't see Centaur very often at all from Squash in these team games. We see Squash moving forward. He's got himself the Jason. He's harassing Tunison's villagers over here. Tunison making a little bit of a mistake here, I would say, generally speaking. You want to be getting your citizen to be defended by some oracles here. These oracles here, they're kind of not doing anything at this point. He could harass these villagers, getting this town center with an early valor onto them, and that would be a nice way to play because it would be distracting Squash from the Jason harass. This Jason is doing so much damage right now. We do see Goldline coming over here to be a little bit of a help though, so that's going to be great. But with Tunison, he's not putting the pressure over here. We do see the Odysseus coming in. That's going to be stopping the Prometheans from doing anything. The villager going back over onto this town center as the hero is going to be retreating back here as Goldline pushing in, wants to put some pressure on here. Still Tunison not using his Oracle Valor just yet here as the Hersa retreating away. And we see the Jason now going to be targeting this one down. We see the Centaur getting finished off. The Hersa retreats back. Going to be nice and alive here. I wouldn't be surprised. What I would like to see is like a healing spring used in like one of your teammates' base, not in the pocket. Because if you have to bring your Hersa all the way back to your home base to start healing them up, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense here. But right now we've got Squash 2 town centers. He's dropping his military academy. You can't realistically on the side of the map not build military units like you might in a 1v1 against like a I don't know. You can't really just build no military units in this matchup. So we're going to be seeing Squash going for military academies. He's dropped double military academy here, which is really, really interesting. As we see, GMs is here. So what Squash is saying here is GMs is going to be able to deal with the Uranus. So how does he deal with the Loki? And it seems to me that hoplites, they're pretty quick with Zeus. Little known fact, Zeus actually does buff the speed of hoplites, and they got to 4.7 speed. Now, while they aren't 5.7 speed like Hall of Thane's Hersa, still pretty quick, can still get around the map, still help out quite a bit here as the GM's Uranus units getting a little bit caught out here, trying to get a building block, not quite able to do so as the units do slither through that little gap there as the Murmillo getting taken down. And we do see that the villagers over here are going to get sniped down. That's a huge raid there by Tunison. Something we don't see very often from Squash is losing a whole bunch of villagers. That's actually gigantic. He loses a crazy amount there. And Squash in a bit of a problem here, but I mean he's got the 2 town centers, whereas Tunison and Goldline don't. So they need to kill off a lot more villagers to find some sort of an advantage here. As Goldline pushing in over onto this location, looking for something to take out. Meanwhile, we've got farms coming up over here for TSM players, playing really defensively with his villagers. This is something that is super important to do in team games. Is not when you're going 2 town centers, is not be aggressive for food. You do not want to be eating this food, for example, because you know that Loki is coming. You know that Uranus is coming. It's not just Hades that you're playing against. This is something that makes TSM player and F2 so good. They're super aware that this is a team game, which might be funny to say because obviously it's a team game, but it's something that happens. As we do see a bit of a shockwave over here as the Terma getting taken out, these units retreating away as best as they can. We see Squash coming over here with his hoplites to help out at this point. It seems like a little bit of a difficult fight to win here with all of those Hersa here, and GM's retreating away. Just a little bit of a distraction tactic there from Squash, but now Squash is getting caught out as Goldline is putting all of this pressure on really, really nicely right now. Villagers over here looking a little bit like they're out of position as Squash is going to have to pull them back. He does pull them back. Nice play there. Good awareness. Turning around, taking the fight underneath the town center here as the Hersa going to just retreat just a little bit. Probably could have stuck a little bit underneath that location there, but decides to pull back anyways as the Murmillo going to chase them down just a little bit here as the Hersa going to be retreating away. Meanwhile, we do see some raids coming through for GMs. He's looking for something to take out here as look at this from Squash. Squash is at 25 villages on food right now. He's throwing his farms down. He always loves to build these farms like this. I do think that if he wants to be safe, it would be better to just bring these villagers back into his home base and farm here, farm here, farm here, than be throwing down like inefficient farms on the second ring around the town center, because he still has these locations at the front of his town center, but he might just want to be saving those for like building placement to defend those a little bit later, might be his idea. A little bit interesting to see the way that he's deciding to play. Everyone respects his macro and his decision making, so obviously there's some big brain reason why he builds his farms like that. Because look at, they're perfectly placed. They're perfectly placed. They're not. You got to be aware of that. You got to say, yep, they are. Same too. Player is at that caliber. He's throwing his farms down really nicely as well here. As Tunison's going to be pushing forward. We do see some cheeky raids over here. One villager does get taken out as Tunison's going to be pulling back. Tunison is in a really good position at this point. He's doing nicely. He's got a huge score lead on everyone, but he is still only one town center. We don't see him going for a second town center just yet. Just full military here. I would love to see like a one town center fast mythic here from Tunison to punish the two town center play from Squash in a team game. We'll see if it's what he's going to go for and whether or not it would work as well. There's more hoplites coming through for Squash. He's up to 100 or 94 of 100 population, dropping down a third military academy here. We see the Terma retreating away here. These hoplites pulling away on that position as well. As the hoplites pull back, looking for something to do. More military academies are coming up over here. And we will be seeing Tunison chasing these two lone heroes. That's a lot of population to be getting distracted by here with the Ajax and the Chiron. Now we see the hoplites coming in for Squash. He's like, nope, no town center for you. I mean, that's perfectly reasonable. You shouldn't be getting a town center here. Tunis is out of position. He's currently getting chased around by GMs. This is a big move here from Squash. Squash kind of knows that there's no units over here, and it has to be Hersa that fight against him, as we do see the Healing Spring getting dropped over here. The Hersa are all over the place. Squash might be able to go straight for the enemy town center here. He's got 21 hoplites, and he is making a huge move into Tunison's base. Tunison is out of position. All of his army over here. We take a quick look at Tunison's perspective here. He's got 114, 115 population, and we see the Sentinels coming down, and Squash says, all right, not going to go after that town center. I would have liked to, but I'm not going to. Pull back instead as the Terma going after these hoplites, and Squash has to figure out somewhere else to go with his army. He's at 120 of 130 population, and look at this. This is what makes Squash so good. He cuts military production before he gets to 130 population. Why do you do this? So you can continue to build villages. If you're at 130 of 130 population, you can no longer build villages. It's effectively your town centers are idle, and you don't want your town centers ever to be idle in the game unless you're at full population villages. And Squash knows this. Squash is insane. All right, Squash moving around the map. And when he starts fighting, I'm sure he'll start production of these military buildings again. He sees that he's about to start fighting over here, so he starts production. And he knows he's going to lose some hoplites. He's trying to take the fight. He's decided to do this as his unit's getting taken down just a little bit. He's getting caught out though. He might actually have to cast ceasefire though. He doesn't want to. As he's taking this fight, he gets completely surrounded here as the Hersa come in, and they're going to start taking this fight. We do see the Restoration getting dropped down by TSM player here. Restoration coming in here for Ninho though, as the secondary Restoration is always better than the first Restoration, and that's going to be huge for Goldline, Ninho, and Tunison as they're going to be retreating away. We see these Terma trying to take out the Valkyrie over here, but not going to be able to do so. The Hersa coming through, going to start taking these units down. The Battle Ball in here as well. All of the Heroic Ages starting to come in, as now we're going to start seeing a little bit of action happening over on the bottom of the map as Ninho and player going after each other. We do see the Manticore is out here for Ninho. Both these players have got access to Underworld, so there's no significant advantage for Underworld. It's just going to be one player clicks Underworld, the other player has to click Underworld as well to defend that, as we see player dropping his Sentinels down on this location, as well as Goldline retreats back. The hoplites still coming out. Squash, he's at three town centers now. He is at 140 of 140 population. Would have liked to see him not go up to that, completely up to that population here in this game, as now we're starting to see some Cairo Ballista coming out. Tunison has worked out, rightfully so, that his opponent is only making hoplites, as we do see the hoplites coming over here, going to be taken out. This temple, lots of relics here. Cathara of Apollo, Ring of Nibelung, and a Black Lotus here. All these relics should be getting stolen here. Move in with those heroes. Those are some quality relics, as we do see a random Iron here coming down. And Squash says, screw this, bolt. And he doesn't want to deal with it. Pulls his army back over here. We see Tunison putting some big pressure onto Squash right now. Squash is now going through Apollo. There's going to be access to 3 underworlds right now for Squash, or 2 underworlds for Squash and TSM player. Gold Lion, Ninjo, and Tunison, on the other hand, they've only got 1. So we'll see how that's going to go. We do have flaming weapons available and Thimble Winter. So we'll see if that's going to be somewhat of an issue there for Squash and GMs here as the army dealing with each other over here. This is a good amount of favor which Gold Lion's going to be getting for himself. We do see the Symphalian Bird going after the Battle Ball here as the army pushing in for Tunis. And we see an unfortunate Mountain Giant spawn here. Not going to be that much of a help, though. He's going to attempt to retreat it away. Maybe going to use it somewhere else. As we see over here, the Herso raid's coming in. The village is going to immediately retreat back. Nice raid from Gold Lion, getting a little bit of damage done. Do we see any side builds over here? We do have a cheeky longhouse down for Gold Lion. Exactly what he needs to do. You want to get in the back of your opponent's face as best as you can. As we see Ninjo coming through. The town center goes down, though, as Squash manages to take that one down. Too little, too late, that reaction from Ninjo as Squash gets in with his hoplites, showing a very, very unique way to play Zeus. I mean, this is a kind of a way that you would have seen Zeus being played way back in like 2002. People go, oh, wow, Zeus can build hoplites. Hoplites are good. Let's just build hoplites. And it's just working in this game for Squash. As time went on, like Zeus players would start going for Toxotes, start going for Hippocon, all of these other units not named hoplites in team games. But it's just working so crazy. As now we see Squash coming over here, trying to take these units out. The Squash army retreating back just a little bit here as GM's coming through. If we take a quick look at what Gold Lion's got going for himself, we do have an underworld over onto this position. We've got the hoplites on the back here as TSM players putting the pressure here. Ninjo's army a little bit out of sorts here. Gold Lion also out of sorts. And this is kind of the point in the game where team games start getting out of control, is when little things start setting you off. We've got no town centers here for GMs, though, so he's going to be struggling just a little bit as he's not able to go to the next age. He's sitting in the heroic age. He's got a palace over here. This Mountain Giant trying to take this one down. Got a town center coming up for GMs. He's going to have to heroize this hero to take out this Mountain Giant, which he will be able to do. Whether or not the palace will fall or not remains to be seen. As over here, like Gold Lion's got so many battle bar in this position, but Squash here, he's got his hoplites out. He's probably at full villager population here. He's going up through Hera. Hera, the god of choice here, to take out all of those Tunisian units. He realizes how far ahead he is on economy. He doesn't need the Hephaestus here, it would seem. But Tia on the way. Surely you cast ceasefire. No ceasefire through for Squash just yet. And that's going to be Gold Lion casting his Thimble Winter. That's smart. You do want to hold off on immediately clicking Thimble Winter, just in case the Greek player is paying attention and casts ceasefire, because you can find yourself losing out on that. As the Symphalian Bird's coming through, hitting Gold Lion's villages nicely over here. We do see that this Longhouse has been spotted. The Thimblewinter Wolves coming through, stealing the Plentiful for just a little bit there. Just getting a couple of hits off as the heroes coming back to kind of deflect off these Thimblewinter Wolves just a little bit. The hoplites over here dealing with this. And if we take a quick look at Squash, how is he dealing with this? He's still got 23 villages on gold. Garrison, everyone else, not going to play too risky during that Thimblewinter. Get everyone back to work. The Lightning Storm is ready, but there's a palace over here that the army can just garrison inside of. Going to be a little bit risky for him to do there, as the battle boards starting to make their way across the map. And I guess in this moment, Ninjo realizes the game is somewhat over. I don't think the game is quite as over as you might think here. Look at the score. It's really close to each other. Yes, TSM play. It looks like TSM plays maybe just too far in front of Ninjo. It's like 600 score differential, but losing this town center will eventually lose the game. However, Gold Lion is going to be having access. Oh, he doesn't have the favor for it. He's still building Battle Ball. I was going to say Gold Lion does still have access to the Fenris Wolf Broods. And if you can get out a whole bunch of these as Pocket Loki, you can just go around and kill all the villagers. And if Ninjo can hold for just a little bit, he should be okay. But it seems like villagers over here are about to die. Things are a little bit awkward here. But the big thing that was interesting in this game for me is how Squash and Player decided to play this game. GMs and Team F2, the pocket player did not boom. That was really, really interesting to me because it seems like everyone's like, oh, pocket should boom because they're not going to be getting raided so easily. They're so far back. Whereas the side players, they shouldn't boom. They should be making army to defend because they're closer to the action. But in this game, we saw the Zeus player, the Hades player, both grab a town center. Obviously, we've got Hades versus Hades over here. So grabbing a town center makes sense. Also, player getting the back town center. But more importantly, grabbing this town center over here meant that Gold Lion had to put real big pressure onto Squash. And that kind of allows GMs to kind of do whatever he wants here in this game off of one town center, which can be really, really risky. If you go one town center and you lose any amount of villagers, things get really, really tough for you. So he's been playing risky, and that's kind of the way the way it worked here. But a really, really interesting game. Loved the hoplite strategy here from Squash. Whether or not we're going to see Squash play Zeus in the serious games remains to be seen. I still think that Greek in general is more of a support role, and you definitely want, if you want to have a Greek in your team, like TSM player who's a stellar Greek player, you definitely need to build a team around Greek. And the way to do that, you're gonna have to get some of those more S tier gods, some Norse in your action, maybe some Ra could go well with Greek. Or maybe Loki Uranus can sometimes help that Greek pull it up into and make it more of that support role, covering some weaknesses of the Norse and the Atlantean to make them work nicer. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game.